And Egypt's annual consumer price index, or a basket of consumer goods and services, quickened to 11.9% in December 2015 from about 10.13% in December 2014. However, monthly inflation eased 0.1% compared to November 2015 because of low food prices and non-alcoholic beverages during the same period. Now, Egypt is controlling the price of 10 essential commodities as the country tries to keep inflation in check amid a shortage of foreign currency. Well, joining me in the studio to delve further into the rising inflation in Egypt is Adel Marouki, who of course is in Cairo. Adel, welcome back to the show. Now, of course, Egypt's economy has faced some major headwinds in 2015, including the slide of the Egyptian pound. What are the key factors that are behind Egypt's climbing inflation?
Well, there are several key factors. As you've said, there is a shortage in the foreign currencies in general, despite a very slight increase in the foreign currency reserve with about $23 million to just escalated from 16.42 to $16.44 billion for the central bank. But overall, there are many issues that has been ongoing. We're talking about 30% increase in fruits and vegetables prices since last year. It has decreased about 8% last month in November, the calculated months, of course, but still, though, this has been quite a very huge impact on the prices itself, particularly for goods. The CPI index, CPI in Egypt, is basically 40% of it is food supplies, and therefore any changes, particularly in the fruits and vegetables, would lead to such jump. But however, there are expectations that it could go down in the coming months.
Well, Adel, Egypt actually spends billions of dollars every year to subsidize bread and, of course, a few other items. Now, the government had started to reform the food subsidy system and, of course, make moves to increase its effectiveness, such as the smart card system. Now, how successful has this been so far?
It has been quite effective. At least the problems that we've used to see in the peak seasons for the bread shortage have nearly disappeared. There are, of course, some manipulations, but generally the smart card has provided a solution to the public, and most of the people who have issued this card are quite satisfied with the share of bread they get. At the same time, even if they exceed their daily budget or monthly budget in the number of bread loaves that they are assigned to get, they say that now there is excess of breads available in many public bakers, which on the contrary before used to have a great shortage. When the wheat prices, there was a big difference between the subsidized package for the suppliers themselves, and therefore they used to sell the government subsidized wheat for about 10 times more in the black market. So the idea of smart card has been quite appealing. It has also been tried in some governorships for the gas cylinders, showing quite improvement in that regard as well. Now, there are other smart cards that are in the process, including in gas stations to control the gas prices, or at least the gas leaked outside and smuggled outside the country, because at this stage Egypt still spends billions of dollars annually to subsidize oil products for the country. So it is an experiment that might and what the government is planning is to make it expand in several sectors, not just the bread.
Now, you did mention earlier, Adel, that of course you were hoping things will get better, or the outlook was a bit more positive, but we've seen ratings agency Fitch coming in saying that inflation actually will remain around 10% going forward. But of course, with an economy heavily dependent on foreign production, and of course with the Egyptian pound slipping this year, what is the outlook for inflation going forward? What is Egypt's government saying? And of course, what are Egyptian analysts saying as well?
Well, Egyptian government has taken a new step to restrict imports so that it can control the inflation rates. So starting February 2016, the government will ban the imports of some goods that includes dairy products, juices, sugary products, anything that includes cocoa, like chocolates, for example, which the government perceives as non-necessary to import, as there are equivalent and quite satisfactory counterparts and local production in Egypt. Some analysts say it could help in pushing down the inflation rates by about 20% on accumulative on 6 months. So that means this is one of the techniques that the government is trying to approach. President El-Sisi in many occasions have tried to provide less prices in the public supply chain for the mainstream Egyptians, but at the same time the government is still trying to do so, but the competition of course is quite severe and it costs the government a lot of money, particularly with a very strained budget and a deficit increasing annually. So government is trying. The recent steps that have been taken indicate, or at least to some analysts, that there might be a slight relief, which will still be tested and see how effective it is in counterparts to the speculations that, as you said, Fitch have indicated.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Adel, for those insights. Of course, Adel Marouki is joining us from Cairo.